So in today's video, what we are going to see is how we can quickly navigate within the data that we are working on. So I have got a sample data on our Excel sheets. So just to help you out, these are all hypothetical data, and it is not related to anyone's personal identity. So please don't try and approach on these numbers or email IDs. It's not going to work because it's totally hypothetical. So, without spending a lot of time on our conversations, let's dive into how we can quickly navigate through the data. So, we will be working on the data that we see in the screen right now. Before we start with the working on the shortcuts, it's very important to understand that for our shortcuts to work effectively, it is important that all our data are in sync. In sync, I mean is our data should not have any interruptions. That is, it should not have any empty rows or unfilled rows. Is what I'm trying to say. The sample data that you see in front of the screen right now, it doesn't have any empty rows. So what happens is our shortcuts will be very smooth to operate, and we won't face any errors. So just in case to relate to our situations, I'll surely delete one or two rows in between, and I'll also share an impact of how this affects while working with the shortcuts. The first shortcut that we are going to use is basically using the shift key. So let's assume that you have to select the data which is in column A, and you want to start selecting from A2 till A43, right? So ideally, if I'm a bit lazy, so what I'll do is I'll just drag it down the line till I reach to A43, so that it goes. That is the laziest way that I can use. Otherwise, if I want to be a bit more quick on this, what I can do is I can click on A2, and I can scroll down, and before I click on A43, I need to press the shift key and then click on A43. So what it does is it selects the entire data starting from A2 till A43. Now let's say in the same selection you don't need to move till A43, and you need to select only from A2 till A20. So all I need to do is I need to again click on the select shift key and click on A20. So it reduces your selection from A43 to A20. So this is one kind of selection that is using shift key. The next we are going to use a combination of the control key and the arrow keys. So the control and the arrow key is going to help us to move around our entire data set in a circular manner. So I'll help you how it works. So let's say right now we are at A1, that is the first cell of our data set. Now, when I click on the control key and I click on the right arrow, it is going to take me to the extreme right of our data set. That is column J. Again, if I press on control key and press the down arrow, it is going to take us to the extreme bottom of our data set. Moving further, control key plus right arrow, it is going again it is taking us to the bottom of our data set, and control and up arrow, we will reach back to A1. So if I keep clicking on the control and arrow keys, it is, if you see on the screen, it is going to circle us around the entire data set that we have right now, right? So it is going to the way you move your arrow keys, it is going to move as it is. So let's say if we have to go in the reverse manner, I'll click on control and press down arrow. This takes to the right, this is taking it upward, and we are back to square one. So this is how your control and arrow keys are going to help you to navigate throughout your data set. There is another way of how you can encircle through your entire data set through the shortcuts. So in this case, all you need to do is you need to first select your entire data set. For that, what you can do is you can click on Ctrl A, and after Ctrl A is done, what you can do is hold the Control key and you can click on period. So period, what I intend to say is your full stop or a dot that we have on the keyboard. So Control period. Now it is taken to the last column. Period again to the end of the data set. Period again to the end of the data set on the on the extreme left. Period again. We are back to A1. So if you hold the Control key and click on the period button, it is again going to encircle the entire data set of yours, keeping your selection on. It will not unselect your data, but it will select your data. It will keep your selection as it is, and it will move around your data set. So this is how you're going to use Control key and period. The next shortcut that we are going to use is with the help of the Control and Shift and using the arrow keys. So basically, Control and Shift is ideally used when you have to do a selection in your dataset. So ideally, let's say if I click on Control and you click on the Control and Shift together, and I click on the right arrow, it is doing an entire selection of all the data that I have from A1 to J1. Again, if I keep my selection ongoing, that is, I am clicking on Control and Shift and down arrow. So as you can see, it is selecting my entire data set, right? So basically it helps you to quickly select your entire data set without any interruptions, right? There's another way. So let's say if you only wish to have the data of the first four columns, then here if you want to select the entire data downward, all you need to do is Control Shift and down key. It will select your entire data set. You can circle around your data as well with the same combinations. Again, clicking on Control and Shift, the right arrow will help you to move through the data towards the right. Down arrow, it has selected the entire data. Left arrow, it is selecting the entire first column. And up arrow, it is bringing you right back to A1. So this is how you can move around your data set using Control, Shift, and arrow keys. So now we are going to see how we can make use of the filter function by using the keyboard shortcuts. So right now the data set that we have, there is no filter applied, right? Or you can see it's all, unfiltered right now, and it is as it is. So let's say now you wish to have the filters on every title. Okay, you wish to have filters on all the titles over here. All you need to do is you need to click on Control, Shift, and L. That is the letter L, right? I'll repeat it again. All you need to do is press Control, press Shift, and the letter L. So what happens is your filters get applied on the title of every particular data that you have in your data set, right? It's right in front of you. It is simple to remove it as it is. I mean, you can just click on Control Shift L and your filters will be removed, right? So right now, let's keep the filter as it is. Control Shift L. Now, let's say you wish to filter the data based on the city, right? So we have one of the titles as city. Now the next question would be, how do I operate within the functions? I mean, within the filters. So in this case, if you want to have this drop down, all you need to do is you need to press Alter key and the down arrow. Okay, I'll repeat it again. If you want to have the drop down in this filter, all you need to do is click on Alter and the down arrow. So what this does is it helps you to get a list of all the data which is there, which is available under this drop down list, under this filter. Now, let's say the next question you will have is how would I do the selections in terms of your drop down list? So in terms of selection, you need to use your space bar key. So let's say right now it's by default selecting all the options. When the selector is over here in select all and I click on space bar, it unselects everything, right? Now let's say I need to view the data of only Ahmedabad in Gujarat. So right now my selector is on Ahmedabad. I can click on spacebar. It selects Ahmedabad for me. And the next I need to see is Delhi. Again, I have clicked the spacebar and just press enter, and it will give you the filter of Delhi and Ahmedabad. Again, if you want to change your selection, all you need to do is alter and down arrow. It will open your selection box, I mean your drop down list. Here again, let's change our selection. Now I don't want to have a look at Ahmedabad, so I can click on spacebar. It will unselect for me as well. Now I wish to see the data of city Agra, and let's say I wish to have Faridabad, I wish to have Lucknow, and I wish to have Mumbai. So this is my data based on the filter that I had selected. Again, alter and down key, it opens up my selection box. And for the time being, I'll select all again. All I need to do is I need to make sure that my selector is exactly on the option I want to see it. So right now I want to reinstate all the selections. The selector is again on all and plus, and I press spacebar. By default selects all the options and I click OK. So my data is back again. Again, if I want to remove the filter, it is Ctrl Shift and L. So it takes away the filter from my data set. So I hope all the shortcuts that we discussed will be useful for you. Please do make use of it in when you're working with your data. So it will help you with a practical scenario of how things are. So this is it for today. Keep learning, keep practicing. Please like and subscribe the videos and share it with all of them whom you feel are in need of it. Don't forget to press the bell icon so that you remain updated about all the upcoming videos.